The wind on the colony world of Valar 9 was cold and dry, filled with dust from the red sand dunes. Callan, a young human technician, sat alone outside a half-broken communication tower. He had been sent by his unit to repair the antenna another. Boring job far from Earth, just like always. But this day would be different. While working on a damaged panel, a loud rumble echoed from the sky above. Callan looked up, his eyes widening as a sleek, silver alien shuttle tore through the clouds. It twisted and spun out of control, smoke trailing behind it. Without thinking, Callan grabbed his toolkit and sprinted toward the crash site. When he reached the wreckage, the air was thick with burning metal. The shuttle had slammed into a rocky hill but remained mostly intact. Callan climbed inside carefully and called out, "Is anyone alive in here?" A faint voice answered from the back. "Help me ... He rushed toward the sound and found a tall figure slumped against the wall, an alien woman with elegant armor and deep violet eyes. Her presence was powerful, even in pain. He recognized her species, the Zarellans, known for their beauty, wisdom, and strong empire. "I'm not here to hurt you," Callan said gently. "You're injured. Let me help." The woman nodded slowly. "I am ... Queen Velari. My guards are dead. You are ... a human?" He nodded with skill and care. Callan helped her out of the broken ship. He used a portable medkit to stop the bleeding. On her shoulder. For hours, he stayed by her side until a Zarellan rescue ship arrived. Soldiers and royal attendants rushed out, surprised to find the queen alive and guarded by a lone human technician. Before leaving, Queen Velari stepped toward Callan. She held a small, dark box in her hands. It had strange symbols on it and hummed with quiet energy. "You helped me without asking for anything," she said. "For that I offer you this gift. Do not open it here. Do not fear it. This is something only a human can carry." Callan blinked, surprised. "What's inside?" The queen smiled softly. "Even I do not fully know. It is ... very old. Be careful." He accepted it with both hands, bowing slightly as she was lifted back into the royal craft. As it rose into the sky and vanished beyond the clouds, Callan stood alone again, but now with something far more strange in his backpack. Later that night, back at the technician camp, Callan sat on his bed and stared at the mysterious box. It had no buttons or locks, no hinge, just smooth black stone, warm to the touch. Some of his co-workers had seen it and warned him. "You shouldn't take things from alien royalty," one whispered. "Maybe it's a trap," said another, "or a test." But Callan didn't believe that. The queen's voice had felt sincere. She could have given the gift to anyone, but she had picked him. He tried scanning the box with a diagnostic tool. The screen blinked once and then shut off entirely. "That's weird ... He muttered. At midnight, strange dreams began. Callan saw glowing cities floating in the sky. He walked through white halls covered in alien writing. In the dream, the box floated beside him like a quiet star. He woke up sweating. The box was still on his desk, completely untouched. But now it felt like it was watching him, like something inside was ... waiting. The next day, he reported for work, but his thoughts kept going back to the gift. During lunch, he noticed something strange. His hand reacted when he touched a damaged circuit. The broken panel sparked to life before he even began repairs. "Did you just fix that without tools?" a fellow worker asked. Callan pretended not to notice, but inside he was shaken. What was happening to him? That evening, he received a secure message from an unknown source. It displayed only one line: "Do not let them take the box. Others will come." His heart pounded. He quickly deleted the message, unsure of who sent it or how they knew. Later, while sitting quietly under the stars, Callan opened his journal and wrote down a thought. Maybe this gift isn't just some ancient object. Maybe it's alive, or maybe ... it's changing me. Suddenly he heard a sound outside his tent. Footsteps, slow, heavy ones. He stepped outside and found 3 tall figures dressed in dark armor, not Zarellan, not human. Their eyes glowed with a faint green light. One of them spoke in a rough voice. "Give us the artifact, human, now." Callan's eyes went wide. He clutched the box close to his chest. I don't even know what it is. He shouted. You were? Never meant to have it, another said coldly. That gift belongs to us. Callan turned and ran. He didn't look back, with the box held tightly in his arms. He ran into the night across the desert sands of Valara 9. The stars above shimmered. Silently, unaware of the storm beginning below, and the gift began to glow. To be continued. Callan ran as fast as he could, his boots kicking up red dust under the pale moons of Valara 9. The box was heavy in his arms, but he didn't let go. Behind him, the strange armored aliens were chasing him, silent, fast, and determined. He didn't know who they were or where they came from, but he knew one thing: they wanted the box, and they didn't care what happened to him. He ducked behind a cluster of rocks and held his breath. The air was thin, dry, and cold. He listened as footsteps approached, then stopped. For a moment, everything was quiet, and one of the voices spoke again. He will return. Humans are weak. He cannot protect it forever. Their footsteps slowly faded into the distance. Callan stayed hidden for a long time, holding the box close to his chest. His heart was racing. His hands were shaking. He didn't know what was happening, but something inside told him this was bigger than anything he had ever faced by sunrise. He made it back to a small outpost near the canyon where a few humans lived and worked on mining operations. He didn't tell anyone about the attackers. Not yet. He was afraid they would take the box from him or report him to the wrong people. Inside the outpost, he sat on a bench and stared at the gift. The surface of the box had changed. Strange patterns were now glowing faintly, like it was responding to him. Then something even stranger happened. When Callan placed his hand on the top of the box, the glow pulsed and he felt a soft warmth flow into his arm. Not painful, not cold, just alive. He pulled back quickly, gasping. What was that? He looked around, but no one was near. It felt like the box was communicating with him, but not with words. With energy. With feelings. Later, while fixing a damaged energy core for the miners, Callan touched a loose wire and accidentally shocked himself. But instead of pain, he felt something different. The machine came online instantly. The others were amazed. That thing hasn't worked in months, one man said. How did you do that? I don't know, Callan lied. Just lucky, I guess. But he knew it wasn't luck. Something inside him was changing. That evening, he took the box outside and sat alone under the stars. He tried talking to it, whispering questions. Why me? What are you trying to show me? The box didn't answer with words, but Callan felt something stir in his mind of vision. He saw flashes of an enormous ancient city, tall towers made of crystal and stone, floating in a purple sky. Alien figures stood before a large sphere, the same shape as the box. One voice echoed in his head. The carrier must be human, free of desire, pure in heart. He opened his eyes, shaking. What does that mean? The next morning, he received a message from someone unexpected. It was from the royal ship of Queen Velare. The screen lit up with her face calm, strong, but slightly worried. You are in danger. Callan, she said. The gift has chosen you, and that means others will come for you. I cannot protect you directly. Not yet, but listen carefully. Do not let the box fall into the wrong hands. It is more than a gift, it is a seed. A seed? Callan asked. Confused. Yes, she replied. A living core of ancient knowledge and power. It responds only to one who can carry it without greed. You must protect it until it reveals its full purpose. And above all, trust your instincts. The screen went dark. Callan sat still for a long time. A seed? Ancient power? What had he accepted without even knowing? He went to the mirror and looked at himself. He still looked human, but his eyes, something about them seemed deeper, sharper. Later that day, he noticed more strange things. Machines worked better around him. Lights flickered when he walked past. Even people seemed calmer when he was near, like something in him was giving off peace. He couldn't explain it. That night, while he was sleeping, he had another dream. This time, he was standing inside a chamber filled with stars. The walls moved like waves of water. In the center was the box, open, floating, and glowing. A tall figure approached, its form blurred, but its voice was clear. You were chosen not for your strength, but for your kindness. That is what makes you worthy. Callan reached out in the dream and touched the floating box, and then he woke up gasping. He looked to his desk. The box was still there, but it was open. Inside the box was a round object, a silver-blue orb about the size of a fist. It hovered gently above the surface, spinning slowly. As Callan reached toward it, the orb moved on its own and lightly touched his chest. A flash of white light filled the room, then it vanished. He looked down in shock. The orb had disappeared, but a soft light now glowed beneath his shirt. In the center of his chest, he didn't feel pain. He felt connected to something far beyond this world. Callan stood there, heart pounding, unsure of what had just happened. He remembered Queen Valerie's words. It responds only to one who can carry it without greed. Whatever the gift truly was, it had now become part of him, and somewhere far above, deep in the stars, more eyes were watching. Some wanted to protect him, others wanted to stop him, but the change had already begun to be continued. The next morning, Callan stood outside the outpost, staring at the sunrise over the rocky cliffs of Valara 9. The strange light on his chest was still glowing faintly under his shirt. He touched the spot gently. It didn't hurt. In fact, it felt warm, like a heartbeat that wasn't his own. He hadn't told anyone yet, not about the orb, not about the dream, not about the gift becoming part of him. Deep inside, something told him this was no longer just a box. It was a part of something much bigger. Later that day, Callan walked toward the mining field, trying to act normal. But nothing felt normal anymore. Machines powered on before he even touched them. Robots obeyed his thoughts without voice commands. His coworkers were confused. "How are you doing that?" One of them asked. "I don't know," Callan replied, unsure how much to reveal. Before he could explain, the outpost alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A message appeared across every screen. Unknown ship approaching. All workers return to safety. Callan looked up and saw it, a dark, triangular vessel lowering itself through the clouds. It wasn't a Zarellan ship. And it wasn't human. His stomach dropped. It had to be the same group that chased him through the desert. As the outpost prepared for lockdown, a secure signal came through to Callan's personal communicator. It was Queen Valaria again, her voice calm but urgent. "They have come for the core," she said. "You must leave now. Do not let them take it. If they do, all hope is lost." Callan replied, "What is this thing inside me? What do they want with it?" The queen answered, "The orb is a seed core, created thousands of years ago by an ancient race even older than mine. It holds the knowledge to rebuild peace, or destroy it. The wrong hands will twist it into a weapon." "And why me?" Callan asked. "Because humans are new to the galactic balance. You are not blinded by power or wars. The core responds only to a heart that expects nothing in return." Her eyes softened. "You were chosen by the core itself, not by me." Just then, explosions shook the outer wall of the outpost. The strangers had landed. 3 figures marched through the smoke, tall, armored, and cold. Their eyes glowed green. The leader raised a scanner and pointed it directly toward Callan. "There, the host." The guards at the outpost tried to stop them, but the strangers moved fast, using strange weapons that disabled machines with a wave of energy. Callan ran. He dashed through the back exit, across the supply yard, and into the deep, rocky paths. The box was gone, but the power was inside him now. He could feel it. He wasn't just running anymore, he was thinking faster, moving quicker, and somehow he felt like the land around him was guiding him. After running for hours, he reached an old station built into the cliffs. It was abandoned once, used to study Valara 9's energy storms. Now it was quiet, covered in dust and shadows. Callan stepped inside and took a deep breath. His chest still glowed faintly. He whispered to himself, "What am I supposed to do?" As if in answer, a wall near him lit up. Lines of alien symbols appeared, and the holographic shape rose from the floor. It looked like the orb. Floating again in the air, a soft voice spoke, not in English, but he could understand every word. "You Have been chosen. The awakening begins. The room shifted and ancient machinery powered on. Images filled the air of a peaceful galaxy long ago, where different races lived in harmony under guidance from the seed cores. There were 7 of them, but only one remained active, the one now inside Callan, but then the images turned dark. One race, hungry for control, had destroyed the others. The cores were hidden. Some were lost. One was locked away until a new, untouched soul would appear, a human soul. Callan sank to the ground. Overwhelmed. I didn't ask for this, he said. I'm just a mechanic. The voice replied gently, True strength lies in those who do not seek it. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed through the chamber. The intruders had found him. Footsteps came closer. Callan stood, facing the dark corridor ahead. The orb's energy surged through his body. He didn't feel afraid anymore. As the first armored figure stepped into the light, Callan raised his hand. The machines in the chamber responded instantly. Energy pulsed through the floor, and a wall of light blocked the path. The attacker fired a weapon, but the shot bounced off the energy field. You are not the one, the leader growled. But you carry it? That makes you a threat? Callan didn't move. I didn't ask for this gift, but I won't let you take it. The stranger paused. Then you have chosen your fate. The figures turned and vanished into the shadows. As silence returned, Callan fell to his knees. The orb's light faded slightly. Resting once again deep in his chest, he was safe for now, but this was only the beginning. That night, Queen Velari sent one final message. You now carry what many fear, but you also carry what many hope for. Come to me. There is more to learn about the seed, about the enemy, and about yourself. Callan closed his eyes, breathing deeply under the alien stars. He had no idea where this path would lead, but one thing was clear. He wasn't just a human technician anymore. He was the guardian of something ancient, something powerful, and he had to protect it. To be continued. Callan rode in silence inside the small Zarellan transport ship. The stars outside stretched into long lines as the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel. A Zarellan pilot sat ahead, not speaking much, only giving him one instruction. You are being brought to Queen Velari. She says your life may depend on it. Callan still didn't understand everything that had happened. Just days ago, he was repairing wires and fixing machines. Now, he carried something inside him that ancient enemies were trying to steal, and it had nearly cost him his life. The orb was quiet inside his chest, but he could still feel it there. It wasn't just technology, it felt alive. Sometimes it pulsed softly, like a second heartbeat. Other times it felt like it was listening, like it understood his fear, his questions, even his doubt. After a few hours, the ship arrived at the Royal Zarellan flagship, a massive vessel floating near the edge of a bright blue nebula. Its size was beyond anything Callan had seen. Giant silver wings stretched from its center, and glowing towers rose from its surface like a floating palace in space. He was escorted through clean white halls, filled with quiet guards and glowing patterns on the walls. Zarellan architecture was beautiful, smooth, calm, full of gentle light. Finally, he reached a grand room. Tall glass windows showed stars in every direction. In the middle stood Queen Velari. She turned as he entered. Her long robe shimmered, and her crown sparkled under the soft lights. But her expression was calm, almost tired. Welcome, Callan, she said. I'm glad you made it safely. Callan bowed slightly. Your Highness, why did you call me here? She motioned for him to walk beside her. They stood near the window, looking out into space. You have questions, she said softly. And I owe you answers. For a while, she said nothing. Then she looked at him, her eyes serious but gentle. The gift I gave you, the seed core, it wasn't just a reward. It was something we had hidden for generations. Something we didn't fully understand. Our ancestors believed it could only be awakened by a pure heart, someone free from greed or power. Callan listened, unsure of where she was going. She continued, Zarellans tried to use it long ago, but it rejected us every time. It caused great damage, wars, betrayals, so we sealed it away. Then why give it to me? Callan asked quietly. The queen looked away, her voice soft. Because I hoped that a human untouched by our history could succeed where we failed. She paused, then said the words that surprised him the most. I was desperate. Callan blinked. Desperate? Velari nodded. Our enemies grow stronger. They know about the seed core. They've searched for it for years. If they get it, they'll use it to control minds, machines, even planets. Her voice shook slightly. And I could not stop them, not alone, so you used me? Callan asked, his voice quiet but firm. The Queen turned to face him. I gave you the choice. You accepted it freely. I didn't force it on you. But you didn't tell me the truth, he replied. No, she admitted. Because if I had, you would have said no. And the galaxy would have lost its only hope. Callan stepped back. His mind raced. He had trusted her. He had defended the gift with his life. But now it felt like he was just a piece in a bigger game. I didn't want to be a hero, he said. I didn't want any of this. The Queen took a slow breath. That's exactly why the Corps chose you. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the palace. A royal guard rushed in. Your Majesty, enemy ships approaching from the dark side of the nebula. It's them. Callan's heart pounded. The same attackers had followed him. Again, they're after me, he said. The Queen nodded. Yes, but this time you are not alone. She turned to her guards. Prepare the sanctuary. We go now. The Queen led Callan through secret halls deep beneath the palace. They reached a chamber unlike anything he had seen, round, glowing, and filled with ancient symbols. In the center was a large stone circle surrounded by 7 lights. Only one of them glowed. The color matched the light inside Callan's chest. This is the heart of Origins, she said. It was built to link with all the seed cores, only yours has awakened. She looked at him with deep sadness. Long ago, the Zarellans were trusted to protect the seeds. But we failed. Now, it is your responsibility. Callan touched the stone circle. The glowing light responded to his hand. It lit up brighter, and the walls began to hum with soft energy. He didn't understand how he knew, but he felt the chamber waking up. It was like opening a sleeping memory, something ancient that had waited for him. The Queen stepped forward. Callan, I know I made mistakes. I should have told you more. But now the only way forward is together. He looked at her carefully. She didn't seem like a ruler anymore. Not in this moment. She looked more like someone tired of carrying the weight of 1,000 years. Do you still trust me? She asked. Callan thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. I don't trust everything, but I trust you care. Outside, battle had begun. Explosions shook the ship. But inside the chamber, the seed core glowed brighter than ever. The air was warm, calm. The Queen smiled faintly. Then we begin. And as Callan placed both hands on the glowing circle, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. Link confirmed. Initiating expansion. New connection established. Human guardian accepted. Callan closed his eyes, and the chamber opened its secrets. To be continued. The air inside the ancient chamber grew warmer as soft waves of energy moved across the glowing stone floor. Callan stood in the center, both hands on the ancient circle. His body felt lighter. The orb in his chest pulsed, matching the lights. On the walls, Queen Velari watched from behind, her hands clasped tightly. For a moment there was only silence. Then a sudden hum filled the air. A deep voice echoed all around them. Seed core awakening. Host accepted. Expansion process unlocked. Callan didn't know what the voice was, but he felt something shifting inside him. A peaceful power spread through his arms, chest, and head. He wasn't scared. He was calm, focused. Outside the chamber, the flagship shook. Enemy ships had reached. The palace ship's outer shields, sirens blared, weapons fired. But inside the sanctuary, time felt slower. Callan and the Queen were surrounded by a protective force. A new ring of symbols appeared around the glowing circle. Callan looked down. He could read them now. Truth, unity, life, sacrifice. Then he heard another voice, softer this time. Inside his own mind, to unlock the true gift, the host must complete the link. Warning. Full connection may overload biological structure. What does that mean? Callan whispered. Queen Villari stepped closer. It means if you keep going, it may hurt you. The system was never designed for a human body. It might be too much. Callan looked at her. Then why bring me here? I hoped you would make the choice, she said. Not because I asked, but because you believe in what's right. Outside, the situation grew worse. The enemies had pierced the first shield. The ship trembled again. A guard's voice came through the intercom. Your Majesty, they are close to the core chamber. Villari looked at Callan with fear in her eyes. They will take it. And if they do, they'll rewrite its power into a weapon. Billions will suffer. Systems will fall. Callan stared at the glowing circle. He had no weapons. No training. He wasn't a soldier. But the Seed Core had chosen him, and it was alive inside him now. He had already seen the ancient visions. The future wasn't written yet. I'll do it, he said. No, the Queen said firmly. You're not ready. The system will burn you from the inside. I don't care, Callan said quietly. If I don't try, everything you're protecting will be gone. Villari took a slow breath. Then I stand with you. Callan placed both hands on the circle again. The moment he did, a stream of light burst from the orb in his chest and spread across the chamber walls. Symbols flew through the air like birds made of light. Machines hidden in the walls awakened for the first time in centuries. Holograms appeared, visions of peaceful worlds, of stars being born, of beings from different races working together. But the light grew brighter, too bright. Callan screamed as energy raced through his body. His knees shook. His skin burned. Like fire was crawling underneath it. Stop, Villari cried. You're going too far. But Callan didn't move. He clenched his jaw, focusing all his strength. He wasn't doing this for himself. He was doing it for the galaxy. For peace. For hope. The orb glowed white-hot. Then, suddenly silence. Callan collapsed to the floor. Villari rushed to him, holding his shoulders. Callan, wake up, please. His eyes were closed. No movement. No sound. For a terrible moment, the Queen feared. The system had taken his life. Then the lights around the chamber dimmed. And Callan opened his eyes. They were glowing softly, the same color as the orb. I'm okay, he whispered. And the chamber responded. Link complete. Human host stabilized. New code uploaded. The symbols on the walls changed. New pathways opened. Callan slowly stood up, still breathing hard. I saw everything, he said quietly. The full plan, the origin, the warning. The Seed Core isn't just knowledge, it's a guide. A map to a better future, but only if it stays in the right hands. Outside the chamber, the enemy forces broke through the final door. They stormed inside, but froze when they saw Callan. Standing at the center, glowing, surrounded by light, one of the attackers raised a weapon. Step aside, human. Callan didn't move. This core doesn't belong to you. You can't stop us, the leader growled. You're right, Callan said calmly, but it can. He touched the glowing circle once more. The chamber responded. Immediately, walls of pure energy rose, blocking the attackers. Their weapons shut down. Their suits failed. The leader screamed, What is this? Callan's voice echoed louder now, not just from his mouth, but from the entire system. This is balance. And you were never meant to hold it. The enemies were forced out by the chamber itself, as if the sanctuary rejected their presence. The doors sealed behind them. Back in silence, Callan lowered his hand. The light in his chest dimmed back to a soft glow. Queen Villari stared at him in awe. You've done it, she said. The core accepted your body. You survived. I didn't do it alone, he replied. You believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. The Queen gave a gentle smile. Then maybe ... we both were chosen? Later, as the flagship returned to safer space, the Queen and Callan stood at the main window. Stars passed by. Peace had returned for now. You're more than a carrier now, she said. You're the guardian of the last Seed Core. Many will want to control you. Some will want to follow you. You must stay true to who you are, Callan nodded. I'm still just a human, but now I know what I carry. He touched his chest, and far away, in a quiet part of the galaxy, a forgotten signal awakened. Others had heard the Seed Corps' call, and they were coming. To be continued. Days passed since the awakening of the Seed Corps. The Zarellan flagship floated quietly near a peaceful moon, hidden far from the enemy's scanners. Repairs were underway, and the crew was slowly recovering. But deep inside the ship, something far greater had changed. Callan had changed. He sat near a large glass window, watching stars drift across the sky. His chest still glowed faintly, the soft blue light pulsing with each breath. It no longer hurt. It no longer confused him. Now, it felt like a part of him, like a companion always by his side. Queen Velari entered the room quietly. She had removed her crown, wearing simple robes. She looked less like a ruler now, and more like a real person, calm, thoughtful. "You're awake early," she said. Callan smiled. "Couldn't sleep?" "Too many thoughts." She sat beside him. "We received a message," she said, "from the Outer Council. Word of what happened here is spreading." Callan turned his head. "Are they coming to stop us?" Velari shook her head. "Some are afraid, others curious, but a few have offered support. They want to meet you." "Me?" he said with surprise. "Yes," she nodded. "You're the first human to bond with the Seed Corps. That alone makes you important. But more than that, you used its power to protect, not to control. That's something the galaxy hasn't seen in a long time." Later, in the ship's lower halls, Callan walked alone. As he passed, Zarellan guards nodded in respect. Technicians whispered as he walked by, amazed by how someone so ordinary had become something extraordinary. Callan stopped at the ancient sanctuary again. He placed his hand on the now quiet circle. The walls no longer glowed, but he could feel a connection. The core wasn't talking right now, but it was listening. "Are there more like you?" he whispered. He didn't expect an answer, but suddenly a soft hum filled the room. A small star map appeared above the circle, showing 7 distant points of light. Only one glowed brightly his, but 2 others flickered weakly, like dying stars. Callan's eyes widened. "There are more. They're still out there." Back on the command deck, Callan stood with the Queen and her advisors. A large screen displayed a peaceful planet below them. "This is Zelvon 4, Velari said. "They've invited us for a meeting. It's a neutral world. No weapons, no tricks. And what do they want from me?" Callan asked. The Queen gave a soft smile. "They want to see hope with their own eyes." The transport ship landed smoothly in the middle of a grand courtyard. Alien leaders from many worlds stood waiting, tall, short, winged, scaled. Some were silent, others curious. All eyes turned to Callan as he stepped forward. He felt nervous. His hands were cold, but the orb inside him pulsed gently. Calming his breath, Velari walked beside him. A large figure stepped forward, an elder with silver eyes and golden robes. He bowed deeply. "You carry the last living seed," he said, "and you chose peace over power. Why?" Callan looked around the crowd. He didn't speak with fancy words, just truth. "Because I know what it feels like to be small, powerless. I never wanted to be in charge. I just wanted to help. That box, the gift, it gave me a chance, so I took it." The elder nodded. "And if we asked you to lead?" Callan shook his head. "I'll walk with you, but I won't stand above you." Murmurs filled the courtyard, but they weren't angry. They were surprised and impressed. That evening, under the twin moons of Zelvon 4, Callan sat beside a fire. Aliens from many worlds gathered around, sharing stories, ideas, and quiet songs. There was no war, no fear, just warmth. Queen Velari sat beside him, holding a soft cup of warm drink. "This is what the Seed Corps was made for," she said, "to connect hearts across species." Callan looked at the fire. "Then maybe I'm not the guardian. Maybe I'm just the start," she nodded. "A beginning, not an ending." Back on the Zarellan ship, Callan entered a small room built just for him. On the wall was the star map, now glowing more clearly. One of the dim points had grown brighter. He smiled. "Someone else activated a seed," he whispered. The orb in his chest responded with a small warm pulse. Not a word. Just a feeling. You're not alone anymore. Callan sat down and began writing. He wrote everything. What he saw, what he felt, and what he believed others needed to know. Not just about the core, but about the choice he made, a choice to protect, a choice to trust, a choice to hope. A soft knock came at the door. Queen Villari stood outside. "We're getting a signal," she said. "A message from Earth." Callan's eyes lit up. "My people?" "Yes," she said gently. "They want to talk. And they're ready to listen." As the stars shined outside, Callan looked out at the galaxy and smiled. He was still human, still simple, still learning, but now he was also something more, a bridge. Between worlds. A guardian of peace. A new legacy, born from an innocent